welcome back to the She Shed. Today's tutorial will be making a beret or a tam, depending where you come from. And you can see that I've got two different sizes here, and I also have done them out of two completely different yarns. This one, they are both a wool blend. This one here I did using a 5mm hook, and this one here from a 7. So I just wanted to show you that yes, you can make this beret out of any yarn you have going around, out of any size. You just need to keep increasing your size until you've got it the width you want. Now, as you can see, this one here is huge. This one here is much smaller. So you can do it whatever size. And let's see what we need for this project. So it's this one that we will be making today. What wool am I using, or yarn? It is this yarn here, and this yarn is called Alpaca, spelled funny. It is European Collections. I believe it is made in Turkey. The colour is, blind person here can't read it, but it looks like it doesn't have a colour. It's just a number. Don't know, can you read that? There we go. Yeah, oh, this one is made in Italy. I bought this from Lincraft. It was on sale at the time, so I actually don't know if it's still available. As you can see, it is a blend of acrylic, wool, alpaca and viscose. It is a 50-gram ball of yarn, and it says use a 6mm hook, and I always generally will go up a hook size, so I will be using a 7, and it is only 80 meters, and I use just over 2 balls of this to make this beret. The tools I will be using is my 7mm hook, pair of scissors, yarn needle and a stitch marker. Let's get this project started. To start this project, we are going to start off with a magic circle or magic ring. So put the yarn in the palm of your hand, and we're going to wrap over these 3 fingers and then bring it forward like so, and I hold the end with my pinky. Get your hook and go underneath that first wrap, grab the top wrap and pull it through, twist, and then grab that top wrap again. This is where it can get a bit tricky, and pull it through. You can now take your fingers out, chain 1, and this is going to count as the first stitch in this circle, and that will be a half double crochet. So we're going to do 5 more half double crochets in this ring, and that is yarn over, go into the ring, grab your yarn, pull it through, yarn over and pull through the 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, into the ring, grab your yarn, pull it through, grab your yarn and pull through the 3 loops on your hook. So that makes 1, 2, 3. We have another 3 to do, because the chain that we started with counts as a stitch. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total. So 5 half double crochets and the chain that we started off with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we can grab the tail and pull, 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 and close your ring together. We are going to be working in the round, so we're not going to join together with a slip stitch and work up. We're just going to work straight into the round and continue going round and round and round. So at this point you might want to put in your stitch marker. With your stitch marker, put that in the first stitch, that chain stitch that we started with, to mark the beginning of your row. And in this stitch here, for our next round, we are going to be putting 2 half double crochets in every stitch of this next round. So we're increasing every stitch. So yarn over, go into that stitch, grab your yarn, pull it through, and grab your yarn and pull through the loops on the hook. Grab your yarn and go back straight into the same stitch, grab your yarn, pull it through, and grab your yarn, pull through the 3 on the hook, and there you go, you've got 2 stitches in that one stitch. Repeat that again. So that's 1, 2, can be tricky to find the next stitch. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. So you should have 12 stitches now. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This next round, so bring your stitch marker up to the first stitch of that second row, and this next round is going to be putting a increase in every second stitch. So we'll go into this first stitch, half double crochet, and then into the next stitch we're doing 2, 1, 2, and then into the next stitch half double crochet, and then into the next one 1, 2, and into the next stitch half double crochet, and into the next one 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, bring your stitch marker up again to that first stitch of the round of that previous round you just did, and this next round is going to be every third stitch we're going to increase. So we half double crochet in the first 2, 1, 2, and then increase 1, 2 in the one stitch on the third stitch. So 1 in that one stitch in that one, so that's my 1, 2, and then 2 half double crochets in this third stitch. So then we go 1 single, 1 single, double, 1 single, 1 single, double, 1 single, 1 single, double, and then 1 single, 1 single, and last stitch of this round should finish off with a double. There we go, and then once again bring your stitch marker up to that stitch of the first stitch of that last round, and then this next round is going to be every fourth stitch you do an increase. So the first 3 stitches are a half double crochet, so that's 1, 2, 3, and then 2 your increase. So 1, 2, 3, and then your increase. 1, 2, 3, and then your increase. 1, 2, 3, and then your increase. 1, 2, 3, increase, and this should be the last one. 1, 2, 3, and then your increase. Okay, bring your stitch marker back up again. And you're starting to see a pattern happen here. So what we are doing is every round we are increasing, but we're increasing the amount of stitches between the increase. So you'll see we started off with increasing every stitch, then every second stitch, then every third stitch, then every fourth stitch, and this one's going to be every fifth stitch, and the next one's 6, 7, and keep doing that until you've got it the width that you require. So this beanie this beret or tam that I made is very, very large. So I don't want to get it quite that big, I want to bring it in. So I'm going to do enough rounds so I have it about that big. The diameter of this tam or beret is 32 centimeters or 12.5 inches. Okay, so I actually want to make mine about, I think about 10, 9.5, 10. I'll see when I get to there, which would be 9.5, 10 would be about 24 to 26. But work that out what would be suitable for your head. Obviously, if you've got a really small head, make your circle much smaller. If you've got a really big head, make your circle, you can even do it as big as this, or in between. If you're doing it for a child, I do it much smaller. So work out what suits you, but I'm going to look at making mine probably about 9.5 inches, which is about 24 centimeters. So what I'm going to do is continue working in my round. There is a trick to know that you're actually in the right round. So you can count your singles, which is quite easy to see. 1, 2, 3, and there's the increase there, which you've got 2 in there. Then 1, 2, 3, and there's the increase. Now you'll also notice that when you're increasing, it's going to be after the increase of your previous round. So your increases should line up in a diagonal. You can also jot down and make sure you can go, right, I've got to increase every 4th stitch, and write it on a piece of paper. Just also remember that bring your stitch marker up after every round so that you can keep an idea of where the start and the finish is and where you need to continue. Okay, so I'm going to continue on making my circle so that it is 9.5 inches or 24 centimeters, and I will meet you back here when I have made mine, and I'll let you know how many rows that was. Okay, so I have managed to make this 9.5 inches or 24 centimeters, which brought me to 9 stitches between each increase. So that was round number 10. So now what we are going to do is 3 rounds with no increase. So make sure you've already moved your stitch marker up to show where your next round is, and literally just 1 half double crochet in every round for the next 3 rounds. And I will meet you back here after you have finished your 3 rounds. Okay, so finish those 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and as you can see, it's starting to now look a bit more like a hat. So that is the rim of the gap from the top to starting to now go in on the tam, so we can have our rim here where it's going to sit on your head. Hope that makes sense. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is now we're going to decrease. Because for me, I'm not sure where it would be for you, but for me I got up to round where it was 9 stitches between the increase. I'm now going to work backwards and go 9 stitches between the decrease on the first round, second round 8, 7, 6 and so on until I've got it the right width for my head. So when I start to see that it looks right, I then try it on my head and see how it fits on my head. So before I did the ribbing here, you can see that I've gone around to here and I tried it on my head to see how it fit. And when that is comfortable, you don't want it too tight or too loose, but when it's comfortable around your head, that's where you stop your decrease. So start this off, and what we will do is 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we're going to decrease. So a decrease is yarn over, put your hook in the first stitch, grab your yarn, pull it through, put your hook in the next stitch, grab your yarn, pull it through, and then grab your yarn and pull through all 4 loops on your hook. And then we do another 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the decrease again, which is yarn over, hook into the stitch, grab a yarn, pull it through, go into the next stitch, grab a yarn, pull it through, and then grab your yarn and pull through all 4 loops on the hook, and then continue your next 9 stitches. So I'm going to keep doing this and I'll meet you back at the end of this round. Back at the beginning of the round and should be finishing off with a decrease. Move your stitch marker up, and then the next round is going to be decreasing at every 8th stitch. Well, actually that's a lie. Decreasing, the last round was decreasing at every 10th stitch, so 9 stitches in between. I hope that makes sense. This one is after your 8th stitch, on the 9th stitch you decrease. Goodness me, getting myself all confused there. So let's do 8 stitches of half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now a decrease. There we go, and then 8. So continue doing that, and I will meet you back at the end of this round. Okay, back at the end of that round and should be finishing off with a decrease. Move your stitch marker up, and then this one, you've guessed it, 7 stitches and decrease on the 8th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease. And you should start to notice now that your decreases are happening on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease. And you can also see that your hat is now coming in. Okay, I'm going to continue with this round and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. Okay, finishing that round and ending with a decrease. Moving my stitch marker up. And you know the drill now. 6 stitches now before our decrease. So 1, start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a decrease. Alright, I'll continue this and meet you back at the end of this round. Alright, at the end of that round, should be finishing off with a decrease. And it's at this point you need to be thinking about trying it on your head and seeing if that is a good size now to fit around the head. I have tried this on and this is perfect. It fits comfortably and I'm really happy with that. So I'm now going to start on the rim. For you, if you need to go another row, do another row and your next row will be 5 stitches, 5 half double crochets, followed by your decrease. 5 decrease, 5 decrease. And keep going. If you need to go another row, it'll be 4, then your decrease, 4 stitches, then your decrease, 4 stitches, so on and so forth. Also, it depends on the yarn that you are using and how many rows you started off on this side. So I did the 10 rows, but if you did a thinner yarn, you would require more rows. Also, if you've done a wider beret, so like this one is much wider than that one, you can, excuse me, hook, you're in the way. You can see big difference in size there. So that required this beanie here, this beret here is a very large floppy beret, and this one I actually used a thinner yarn for this one, and it required, I think it was 20 rows I did for this one. So you can see a thinner yarn requires more rows, and obviously a bigger beret is going to require more rows. So whatever you did on the top here, start your decrease the same. So if you did, this was 20 stitches between the increase, so I had to start with 20 stitches between the decrease and worked my way down. So once you've got it to what is comfortable around your head, for me this is it. So now I'm going to start doing the rim. So I hope that all made sense. So to make our rim, bring your stitch marker up. And we are going to do front post, back post, half double crochets. So yarn over, front post, go in behind the stitch. Grab your yarn, pull it through, and grab your yarn and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Now a back post, yarn over, go behind your work, come in to the next stitch, go across the front of that stitch into the following stitch, grab your yarn, pull it through, and this is where it can get a little tricky, and it's, excuse me while, there we go, pull it through, grab your yarn and pull through the 3 loops on your hook. Front post, remember yarn over and going behind the stitch and pull yarn through and do a half double crochet, and the back post, yarn over, going behind into the stitch there, that hole there, front of that stitch into the next hole, grab your yarn, pull it through, and grab your yarn and pull through the 3 loops on your hook. So the front post is straightforward, but the back post is where it is a bit tricky. So once again, yarn over, go into that first hole, in through, over this stitch here, next hole, grab your yarn, pull it through and bring it forward, grab your yarn and pull through the 3. So each stitch is going to be, one is a front post half double crochet and one is a back post half double crochet, and when you get into the rhythm of it, it's really easy stitch. So keep going around until you come back to the start of this round. So front post, back post, front post. Let me just show you the back post again, because that is the trickier one. Yarn over, in, grab through and through. Okay, I'll meet you back here at the end of the round. To my last stitch of that round, which is a back post half double crochet, and we're just going to continue in the round now. So you will see that you will do a front post half double crochet on every front post half double crochet you did before, and you'll do a back post on every back post. So you're just repeating the same process on top of the previous stitch. So if you did a front post, that's the front post. This one here was a back post, so I'm going to repeat a back post on top of that. And just keep working until you've got the rim to the height that you would like. Me, I'm going to see how 3 rows look for this. For my grey beret, I did 5 here. It's a much thinner yarn. I think I only used a 5 hook for this, and I did 5 rows. So do the amount of rows that you feel is a good fit for you. You can make a really large rim or a short rim. It's purely your taste. But I'm going to try 3 rows and see how it looks. And I'll meet you back here after I've finished my 3 rows. Finished my 3 rows, and I'm really happy with that. I think that's big enough rim. So I'm going to end off, and I'm going to do a slip stitch in the next stitch. Bring that through, cut off my tail, and there we go, all done. So let's weave in the tail. You can remove your stitch marker now, and I simply just go straight in and just keep weaving backwards and forwards, making sure that my thread is never going to come out. And how much you do this is purely to your liking. Okay, so there we go. And there we are, our finished beret or tam. And here are some photos of my model wearing that. Looks pretty good, hey. So that's the back or the top. And there we go, there's the underneath. Very simple, easy to do, takes less than an hour, and if you've got any wool can be used to make this. Just remember to do as many rows as you need to get the width that you require, and then decrease as many rows as you need to get the width you require. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any comments or any suggestions, please leave them down below. Otherwise, thank you very much for coming along on this journey with me. If you do take any photos of this, I'd absolutely love to see them. So drop me a line at Instagram at lucky_platypus1. My website is www.luckyplatypus.com.au, or of course on Facebook, Lucky Platypus. Alright everybody, thank you for coming along with me. Have a fantastic day, and hopefully I'll see you again at the she shed sometime very soon. Bye everyone!